Okay, we're going to talk about Project 3 now. It's very similar to Project 2. Actually, I have to pull up the requirements here. And then there's also an optional Project 4 that some people do for extra credit. And because basically we're into the business of just making songs right now. And if it sounds good, it is good. So it's all about your creativity and how you use these tools to create your vision. So anyway, Project 3, it says no more than 3 minutes again. And you're going to do some copying and pasting just like the last one. Must have an interesting title. We also said use some vocal samples from the loops window and also some sound effects. Just as a suggestion more than anything. I want you to learn that there's a lot of cool things inside that sample window. So let's start with that. I'm going to start where I left off with Project 2 because it already showed you how to create loops that go together well and everything, even though you may start from scratch with a completely different set of beats and everything. But I'm going to start with where I left off with Project 2 just to show you some more advanced techniques. So we have this sort of funky piece here with a little bit of a city crowd at the beginning. So we already have a sound effect in there. Now we need a vocal sample. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make some markers too. Option apostrophe, shift apostrophe. I'm going to call this intro. And then I'm going to go down to measure 9, option apostrophe, shift apostrophe, call this intro 2, and return. Then I'm going to go down to measure 13, and I'm going to call this the verse, even though it's kind of arbitrary since it's just kind of like a big jazz funky jam. I can also control click. First I'm going to click to show the global tracks. I'm going to hit G. Now you see the markers track is there. I'm going to make it a little larger. And these are the markers I created, intro, intro 2, and verse. I'm going to hit Option C to bring up the color palette and make this one orange. And then this one I'm going to make green. And then this one I'm going to make pink. Just adds a little color to the project, makes it more fun. I don't need this tempo track particularly, but we could do a little bit of a speed up by creating a node on the tempo track and just saying, okay, we're going to take the first 4 bars to get up to our tempo. So we'll try that. And sometimes you have to do it by stair steps. You can also hold down the option key to create a curve, but stair steps works pretty good too. Okay, so we did a few things there, and let's listen to it. Okay, I don't like that at all. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go up to the File menu and say Project Alternatives. Actually, I'm not even going to do that yet. I'm going to go to the Tempo and just say Tempo Set, New Set. And that just brings us back to 120. We had moved it down to 90. I'm going to go ahead and put it at 90. And I didn't like that tempo change there because it didn't work with this particular jazzy piece. So forget that. But we're going to do some other cool things in a minute. I am going to look for a vocal sample. So let's just go over here to our loop window, and I'm going to click on vocals. And there's all kinds of vocals here. There's like 1,600 of them. Some of them are grouped by person, like Andre and Bailey. So let's see what Bailey has to say here. There's all different ones. Yeah, let's try something different. Let's check out Byron.
Ooh, ooh, baby. Ooh, baby.
Let's see how that one goes with our track. Let's put our cycle region over here where more things are playing. And listen to Byron. Okay, so that's not bad. So I'm going to drag this Byron sample down here below the last track and add it to the project. And just let's try another Byron. Okay, I kind of like that one too. Number 9, I'm going to add it over here. Let's get rid of the cycle region now so I can go forward and just let Byron kind of jam out. Yeah, I'm kind of liking what Byron's doing there. So there we go. We added some vocal samples, and that was the idea. We already have some sound effects. We can do some more sound effects, like anything you want to add. If we click on sound effects, there's police, race cars. I kind of like that police sound. Sounds kind of European. So I'm gonna put that in here too. I'm gonna move it over a little bit so that comes in later. And just see what happens. Let's hear what it sounds like when we listen to the project now with Byron and our police sample. So that was the Byron. Now here comes the police sample. And there you go. You can add, many more things. All kinds of, basketball, billiards, if you want to put that in there, go ahead and just drag it in there. And just anything that makes your piece more interesting. And of course, you can add your own vocals or your own rap if you're so inclined later on as well. But that's pretty much it. We've already made sure that it's the right length. We'll put our cursor at the end. We'll see that it's 2 minutes, 33 seconds. So that's enough. And let's check our automation and see if we still have a fade out at the end. It appears that we do on the master track. So I'm going to turn the automation off. And again, we can now bounce the track, Command B, save it first, Command S, Command B to bounce, and let's save it as a PCM and an MP3. Now see, our start time is off. It says 30. We don't want that because that's because something was selected. So I'm going to cancel and then click on the background to deselect everything and then bounce it again. Command B. Now see, the start time says 1, ending at 59 and 24 bits, so we're good. I'm going to say OK. And I'm going to say Funky Spaceship 2, Bogle. I'll put a O2 at the end of that as well. Bounce it. And then again, I'm going to take that bounce and bring it into the project so that we have sort of a backup in case you take this to a different computer and it doesn't have all the same resources. So here's my funky spaceship 2 bounce, the wave. I'm going to get rid of this one and try to position this so I can drag it into the project. So you got to learn to resize windows and stuff. Take this one, drag it down here. And so now this one is down here. I'll show you another little trick. I can hit the semicolon to bump this to the beginning. That's called a pickup clock. You're going to learn more about that in Synthesis 1 and Synthesis 2 class, which hopefully you're all going to take right after this. That's sort of our sequence. After MIDI 1, then Synthesis 1 and Synthesis 2 are the next 2 classes that you'll take that continue down this same road of production. So I call that the Dr. Dre track here at the college. So let's listen to it now. We can, I'm going to mute the other mix that we did, but listen to it now with the funky spaceship. Okay, so that's basically project 3 for MIDI 1 class. And anyway, be looking over your other study guides, of course, to study for the tests and the midterm. I'm going to end with a little teaser for what comes into synthesis class, and just something cool that you can do to this track to make it interesting also. I'm going to go ahead and control click up here and to customize the control bar, and I'm going to add this this really cool feature called Vary Speed. And I'm going to change this to speed and pitch, and I'm going to slow this down by, let's say, 15%. Let's make it an even 10%. 10%. And this, if it works right, will slow down the entire project, including the vocals, by 10%. Let's hear what it sounds like. It's also lowering the pitch down. It's kind of cooler already. I kind of like it. Yeah, see the voice sounds deeper. It's kind of neat. Yeah. So that's Vary Speed. We could also go down to minus 20%. Let's try that. I'll just start it right on the vocal here. See how it sounds. There you go. I kind of like the 10% myself, so I'm going to change it back to 10% and save it. And another cool thing you can do is go to File, say Project Alternatives, and say new alternative. And so now it puts a 1 at the end. Anything we do now will continue to save, but we can always go back to that other alternative. So it's kind of like a way of having two versions of your file going at the same time. So that's it. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you get your project 3 turned in by the due deadline. And good luck on the quizzes.